What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Weekly Words. I pray that these last couple weeks have been very fulfilling for you, and you've been able to have rest and also be productive as well. I'm so excited to keep the conversation going for 2021 to talk about how we can be encouraged, inspired, and we can recalibrate, reassess, and recalculate where we are and where God wants us to be. So let's go ahead and get started with this week's episode of Weekly Words titled Hills and Valleys. So, in continuing the conversation about recalibrating and thinking about where we are and where we want to go, I want to share some thoughts I had based on one of Torrin Wells' songs titled Hills and Valleys. This has been a song that I've been reflecting on, specifically the chorus. In the chorus of his song, he says, "On the mountaintops I will bow my head to the one who set me there. As I'm standing in the valley, I will lift my eyes to the one who sees me there. When I'm standing on the mountaintop, I know I didn't get there on my own. When I'm walking through the valley, I know that I am not alone. You're the God of the hills and valleys." The reason I like this so much and the reason I've been reflecting on it so much is because I think that it is a perfect analogy for life. In life, there are high moments and there are low moments. No matter who we are, where we are, our status, our experience, our race, whatever, we all experience hills and valleys, high moments and low moments. That is just a fact of life. And I know that a lot of us probably prefer to have those high moments and those mountaintop moments because typically those are the moments where we have the most success or the most fulfillment or we feel the happiest, right? But I think if we actually manage our perspective, we can find that the valleys are actually just as important as those mountaintop moments. So a couple months ago, I actually was able to go to Pittsburgh to celebrate one of my best friend's birthdays. And for those of you that do not know, Pittsburgh is very hilly and there's all these ups and downs throughout the entire city. So at one point of the weekend, we were actually on this rooftop patio, and it was great. We had a beautiful, amazing view. We were able to see the city skyline. We were able to see the football stadium. We were able to see houses and homes and just different hills and high points and low points. We were even able to see other rooftops and other inclines that would probably give us a better view. But it was just very nice to just soak in and see the beauty of the city and take a moment and to just appreciate life in the world and whatnot. Not to mention just the company of my friends. Anyways, while I was on the rooftop, and like I mentioned, I saw the other patios and rooftops and places that could probably give me a better view, I thought to myself, if I wanted to go to that place to get a better view, it wouldn't be like an easy teleport and be there. I would have to go through a journey. First off, I would have to leave my current place of comfort and my current place of appreciation to, one, figure out where that place is and how to get there. Once I figured that out, then I would have to leave the rooftop and go all the way down to the bottom, the place I've already climbed, get in my car and travel to where I wanted to go. While in the car, I'm sure there would have been traffic and lights and bad drivers and construction and just all the other annoyances that come with driving in the city. Then, once I actually get there, I have to figure out where to park. Parking in the city, parking in Pittsburgh is difficult. After that, I would have to figure out how to access the building or the incline and then go all the way up to the top, climb that, and then finally get to that better view. That can be very taxing, very frustrating, and very annoying, right? So I thought to myself, would I want to do that? And I think all of us can relate to this where going through all that, we could easily say, you know what, it's not worth it. I don't want to do all that stuff. Maybe we make it halfway and then turn back around. Because we're focused on just the interim time. We're focused on that journey period. We're not even thinking about the outcome. But if we remind ourselves why we're doing something, why we're taking that journey, and that we're going to have that better view at the end of our journey, I think we would be encouraged to keep going, right? It matter. Our mindset would kind of determine if that was a lot for us to do and if that overall end goal was worth it. So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that in life, whenever we go from rooftop to rooftop, mountain to mountain, hilltop to hilltop, glory to glory, strength to strength, there are naturally going to be those moments when we have to travel through a valley to get to that mountaintop. And if we just focus on the negative or the subpar or the annoyingness or the hardship or the adversity in the valley, we're going to be discouraged and we're going to stop midway through. We're never going to complete that journey. But if we remind ourselves of the why of the journey and that we're going to a better view, we can use it as encouragement in the journey to be able to get to that mountaintop. So one of the things I want to do today is encourage anybody who is in a valley to remember the why of why you're there, right? Remind yourself of why you're pursuing that degree. Remind yourself of how your current work situation is developing you to reach your professional goals. Remind yourself that how you walk in your singleness can actually prepare you for your husband or your wife. All of the valleys that we choose to go into in our lives, they have meaning and they have purpose and they actually lead to the mountaintops and those high moments in life. They are not pointless. They are not just because, but they actually serve a purpose. But what happens whenever we're in a valley that we didn't choose? A valley that we were forced into because of the circumstances of life, right? What happens whenever you've been laid off? Whenever you lose a loved one? What happens when you're in the middle of a pandemic, right? What happens whenever you're broken up with? What happens when you have to deal with police brutality or social injustice, racial tensions, or just racism as a whole? What do you do then whenever you didn't choose this valley that it's just a part of life? Well, to be honest, I do not have all the answers, and I'm sorry that I don't. But one thing I know is that I think this is how Torin's song actually can apply here. I think that in that second part when he says, you know, when I'm walking through the valley, I am not alone. And when I'm walking through the valley, I set my eyes to the one who sees me there, right? When we're in the valley, we are not alone. You are not alone. God sees us. God is with us. So even whenever we're dealing with that trial, that adversity, that unfair treatment, that trial, that temptation, that hardship, we are not alone. God is literally with us and God sees us. So today I want to encourage anybody who is in a valley in their life, regardless if it's a valley that you chose or a valley that you were forced into by life circumstances. If it's a valley that you chose, I want to encourage you to remember the why of the valley and how it's going to help you to fulfill your purpose and get to that mountaintop. And if you're in a valley that you are forced into because of life circumstances, I want to remind you that God sees you and God is with you and that you are not alone. Please be encouraged today that God is the God of the hills and the valleys. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Weekly Words. I pray that you thoroughly enjoyed it and got something positive from it. If you have any questions or suggestions or things for me to speak on in the future, or you want to be featured on Viewers Corner, feel free to email me at weeklywordsrt@gmail.com. Again, that's weeklywordsrt@gmail.com. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you back here on our next episode. And don't forget to check out the Weekly Words Extended Podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. Have a great week, and I'll see you back here next time.